Hey guys, it's Drummond. So today's video, of course, is going to be controversial because what's more controversial than gun laws right now? So I feel like as a YouTuber, I want to voice my opinion and kind of voice some other opinions that are out there just to open some people's eyes, because I feel like so many people right now are really just so gung-ho at one side or the other, and they feel like if you don't agree with them, you disagree with them, and you're attacking their rights to have guns, or you're attacking their right to have their children safe in schools or theaters or nightclubs or wherever there's been a shooting. But I really want to put the focus on the fact that what we should be focusing on is how to save lives. We shouldn't be focusing mainly on should we take people's guns away or should we let them keep them, because honestly, that's only making people more angry. And I think that there most definitely needs to be some changes in the gun laws, mainly because when the Constitution was written, it was written way back in the day when guns couldn't kill as many people. I really think that it's something that we need to start looking into and looking at other avenues, because recently the Trump administration has suggested that we just give our teachers guns to protect the students in schools, that our schools are just sitting ducks for violence when we don't have means to protect them. And all the teachers that I've spoken to so far are completely against this. I'm sure there are places in maybe Texas and other states where guns are a little bit more common in the household, but I will say there's a lot of teachers that don't feel like they should be trained to shoot students that have guns. I myself, if I was a teacher, probably would not want to have a gun as well, just because as a teacher you're in there, you're wanting to educate these students and mold them into young adults that can go out into the world and do amazing things. You most definitely don't want to shoot them, and I can understand why a lot of them are against having guns on school grounds in teachers' possessions, just because there are military people out there that go off to war and come back, and they're not the same person after they've shot someone. They're not the same person after they've gone to war and had to watch people die. And to be honest, I feel like that could really mess up a lot of teachers, and I don't think that giving more guns out is the solution for problems that are dealing with guns. I definitely feel like the Republican Party is pushing more guns on campuses and schools just because they are also working with the NRA, who doesn't want anyone to create laws to make it harder to get guns. But I think that's what we really need to be doing. I give major props to the airlines that have cut off funding from NRA, just because that's an amazing thing. I feel like the least amount of pockets that the NRA can get into is going to make things better. It's crazy that there's students out there that are working harder to make sure that schools are safe than most politicians out there. And that just shows that this is a problem that we need to take care of. So one thing that I saw someone post, she was actually a teacher, is the fact that instead of putting so much money into the NRA and having more guns in school, why don't we put more money into counselors in school? Because right now, most schools don't have a lot of counselors, and there are a lot of teenagers now that are dealing with issues, whether that's at home or bullying at school. There are kids that need help, and it is really hard for one counselor, two counselors, even three counselors in schools of thousands to deal with all the kids that they need to be helping. So she suggested, and there's actually a lot of posts going around that I've read, where funding should be going into training more people into becoming counselors to help troubled teens, because God knows with the internet there's so much bullying and so much hate and so much violence out there for these kids to witness, that we really do need to be focusing on children and helping them get through these troubling times. And that falls on the parents as well. Parents need to be a little bit more observant of what their kids are doing. I also feel like it's a responsibility of us as creators on YouTube. I feel like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of those need to start making it a little bit more of a serious thing that we focus on when someone makes a death threat. Because the kid that actually went into the school in Florida this last week and shot tons of people was actually making posts on YouTube and other social media saying that he was going to do a mass shooting in a school. And after reading several things, a lot of people were aware of that and nothing was done. I mean, it's possible that at the state level there's just not enough employees, or there's overworked employees and they're not getting paid enough, and it wasn't something that they seemed to put at a priority to push up to the federal government to make sure that this kid did not walk into a school and kill tons of people. But honestly, there are so many things, and this is not a simple problem to fix. I feel like right now so many people are so focused on, we need to take away your guns, or we need to make sure that these people don't get guns. But there's a lot of things that go into this. I feel like the internet, we need to step it up when it comes to threats and stuff like that. I know as a YouTuber myself, I've had lots of people threaten me and say that they're going to try to kill me, and that's something that I report right away. And I feel like maybe YouTube and other social medias, they need to make it like, report this comment. Why are you reporting this comment? It's a threat at my life. And make that something that they investigate and pass off to police officers or whoever takes care of that type of stuff to make sure that these types of things are being addressed. Another thing I'd like to bring up is technology. It's 2018, people. We have had several years to focus on school security and movie theater security and security in general. I feel like there has got to be a better way to keep our students safe. There can be automatic doors that lock after the school is in session. Honestly, I feel like clear book bags is probably a good idea, just because it's a little bit harder to conceal something in a clear book bag. It's a little harder to get into a school if all the doors are locked while school is in session. I feel like there's a lot of things that we can do technology-wise that could prevent students from coming into schools, not necessarily students, even adults coming into schools when they're not supposed to be, and protecting our students. I know one thing that I saw on Facebook that someone suggested was metal detectors at the doors, and before classes start, have the teachers sitting at tables checking the clear book bags to make sure nothing's in there. I mean, the teachers are there, why not have them rotate at the doors and be like, hey, okay, you're this teacher, you have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You're this teacher, you have Tuesdays and Thursdays. You're going to do this, and just make sure that the schools are safe and have the doors locked when students are in the building, and have it to where people buzz you in if you need to come in when school's already in session. I feel like there's so many things that we could be looking at, and we're really not doing that. I also feel like something that we need to focus on is bullying in schools. There's a lot of students' lives at risk, and I feel like people are constantly bullying, and now that we've got the internet, bullying is so much more prevalent just because you can do it behind a screen with a fake screen name that doesn't have anything to do with you, and no one knows it's you, and you can just bully people whenever you feel like it. Back in the day when I was younger, and my parents and everyone before them, it was a lot easier to control bullying because you had the chance to bully someone at school where there was teachers supervising you, or church, or after school events where there were also adults. But now students can sit in their rooms behind closed doors and bully anyone they want without really any repercussions of it. I feel like maybe if there was a little bit more internet security on bullying, making sure that people were actually getting in trouble for bullying online, maybe it would happen a little bit less. I know from experience that bullying can get intense online, and I feel like it's something that we need to make sure that there's a lot less of online, because that type of bullying can lead to someone mentally wanting to harm someone else, and sometimes those people have access to guns, and those are the people that end up at schools and end up shooting people. This isn't a simple problem, and I most definitely am not saying that this is something that's going to be solved anytime soon, because I feel like a lot of politics are involved and a lot of money is involved. All I'm really asking right now is that we put politics and money aside and we try to figure something out. We stop attacking each other. I don't believe taking away guns is the solution. I do believe that stricter background checks is something that we should maybe focus on. I also feel like an age limit should also be put on what type of guns you're allowed to have. I feel like there's guns that you don't really need for like hunting and stuff like that, and then there's some guns that you're just, why do you need them? I understand like they're cool, and I understand that you like shooting them and it feels fun, but I don't really feel like you need something that can kill 100 people within minutes. Also, another argument that I've heard a lot of is, how will I protect my family at home if an intruder comes in? Well, you won't really need the guns if the shooters are going to the schools and killing your students versus them coming to your house. I feel like people coming into your house is a lot less likely than someone going to a school and shooting them. So we need to stop saying that you need this type of gun, this type of gun. We need to make laws that are going to protect people. And honestly, I just don't see putting more guns out there as something that's going to solve this problem. Honestly, putting more guns in a school gives more guns for students to have access to. And just like when parents leave a gun cabinet unlocked, or parents give their kids the keys to the gun locks, there's just as many opportunities for teachers to misplace their gun or do something careless, and a student now has access to a gun in a school. So what I really like you guys to do is try to think outside of the box. It's 2018. We have so much technology at our hands, and there's so many things that have changed in this day and time. So I feel like we really need to start looking a little bit more outside of the box and at the bigger picture, because it's the bigger picture that we're trying to fix. It's not something that we can easily solve by putting guns in the hands of teachers or taking guns out of everyone's hands in general. But also with the background checks, I feel like if you're the type of person who gets drunk and points your gun at someone and you get in trouble for it, arrested for it, I do feel like in a background check that should prevent you from getting a gun in the future. Just because if you're the type of person that aims a gun at someone when you're upset and drunk, then you're probably not a person that should be holding a gun in your home anyway. I understand for protection, but if you're using it in that type of way, you shouldn't have it. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have comments on this subject, because I've been all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I see it everywhere, so I know you guys all have opinions. I would love to hear some of your thoughts on this subject, but please make sure you're doing it in a way that you're educating people and not attacking someone else's views, because that's the last thing that we need right now, because everyone's just feeling so attacked, and we really just need to come up with a way of explaining our opinions in a way that's educating someone else and not attacking them to where they don't want to hear what we have to say in the first place. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.